All that was muted. Oh, sorry. Sorry, guys. All of that was muted. We were just doing a little introduction, but welcome to the late night. I'm so sorry. Hey, you gotta help me out. I can't
I'm looking
figure
in the
out
camera.
everything.
I'm here. I'm here with it.
I'm sorry,
Take it from the
guys.
top.
Take it from the top.
Why you ain't say something, Erica?
I, I'm your hostess, LaShawn the Voicetress.
And I am Deuce Terry.
Man, we said a whole lot.
Take it from the top.
We were talking about the message that pops up on the side. So if you are tuning in with us tonight, first of all, thank you so much. We have a great guest on tonight. We're going to be talking to Erica Farmer. She is a farmer. Her name is Erica, and she has two companies, Gardening Under the Influence, and they're under one umbrella, and also Plant and Heal. So we're going to learn a lot about that tonight. But before we get into that, so if you see the link on the side, we have voiceover classes that we offer. And basically, if you think you have a good voice for radio or you like playing different characters with your voice and you're not necessarily into the acting side or don't want to be on camera, this might be the niche for you. Deuce and I have made thousands of dollars doing it, and we want to teach over 1 million people. We want to teach 1 million people how to get into voiceovers before the end of 2024.
Everybody's looking for a side hustle. Everybody's looking for extra ways to make money, legal ways to make money. Don't do the PPP loan. Just saying. So this is something you can do from home. This is something you can do with the kids, spouse, and it's just as easy as reading church announcements on the Sunday.
That's right.
Like you were saying, as kids, maybe kids that read the announcements on the intercom in school, it's a little nerve wracking at first, but once you get through it, you realize you accomplished something. So that's the feeling that I got. Once we did 18 chapter narration for a book, I was very pleased. I was very happy, and I felt very accomplished.
Absolutely. Good job, babe. I'm so proud of you for sticking with that. That was amazing. So if we can do it, you can do it. You don't have to sound like a radio announcer to get into it. So dismiss all the misnomers that you may have in your head. This is for anybody. And so right now I'm running a special, 2 students for $80 or 1 student for $50. So bring a friend, pay $40 each and get this information. As far as the schedule, it's not every Wednesday anymore. I pretty much work with the time that I can coordinate with the students. Before, with the mute on, we basically gave a quick breakdown what the difference is between the crash course and the actual 90-day course. So with the 90-day course, you actually get a certification. We are working on accreditation, but you get a certification. You get access to the website in case you want to go back to reference any of the resources that are there. And I make sure that you are practiced and you are like set to go to where by the time you leave class, you should be ready to make money. Now with the crash course, we go over the topics of the class and I give you the resource and point you in the right direction and you can practice on your own. But I do give you, if you don't have it already, I do give you tips and practice in the audio production because I want you to be able to save some money and produce your own voiceovers to send out to the different platforms before you leave class. So I'm going to teach you jargon. I'm going to teach you if you get a professional booking, what are some of the terminology that you will hear when you go to the actual session, all that good stuff. Trust me, it's about $10,000 worth of game in a $40 package. So take advantage of that while you can, because again, once the crash courses are over and the new launch for Dynamic Voices, formerly LVAMU, once that is set, we will never offer the crash courses ever again. So please take advantage of that. Another thing is if you find yourself telling a waitress or a waiter, if you don't like not getting tips, then you need to find another profession. Well, there's a lot to that, and there's a lot to unpack, and there's a lot of things that went on in history as far as the pink collar industry, and we uncover a lot of that in this book called Tip the Damn Waitress. And basically, it helps you understand the pink collar industry and its origins and kind of where it is right now. There's only one um, profession in the world, which is the pink collar industry, and it kind of does include like stripping and some of the
Uber Eats,
yep. hmm Uber Eats or and those the
delivery drivers.
new that's the new segment of that. We will have a third book about specifically about that coming soon as well. How to hack that and how to navigate that, and a little bit of how it spins off from what we have now. But yeah, so if you are interested in learning a little bit more about that and why um, that is such it's kind of a heavy topic because again it's the only industry in the world where you can get full service, bad or good, and decide if you want to pay for it in the end or not. Like it's crazy. Like why is that? So and secondly we have
Black people don't tip.
it is a little controversial as far as the topic, as far as the title goes, but give the example that you gave a little bit earlier.
You can be in a scenario, like I said, I've been a waiter, a bartender, and I love serving. I love the profession. I love giving great customer service. But it seems like, because I was a black guy, I worked in a white restaurant, that they would jump at the efforts to serve white people as they came through the door, and they would turn their head as black people. Black people come in with maybe a group of black people with kids, and it's going to make a mess. Just the same as white people. I don't know why, but they did. They just assumed that the black people weren't going to tip
Yep.
and make a ruckus or make a big deal about certain their order or the way the steak is cooked or fries being cold. It's just always an issue. As if white people don't do it too. So, like I said, I'm big on customer service, so that's particularly why I tip. But the misnomer of black people don't tip is an issue in the industry as well.
So we talk about it in those books, and you can get those on Amazon.com or Etsy. So just look up the title, Tip the Damn Waitress, and Black People Don't Tip. I promise you there'll be no other books like that come up. And we'll get these on Audible probably in a couple of months, maybe by midsummer, late summer.
Go ahead
so
and knock it out.
yeah, so we'll be looking. So please be looking forward to that.
But without further ado,
wait a minute.
It's 20 minutes.
Yeah, I know. But I just wanted to make sure you guys know that the MSL is coming. E-mics.
Oh yeah.
And this is a huge accomplishment for us. Dayton, Ohio's own Juan Thompson invented this. It is song versus song competition. It's going to be huge. You're going to see a lot of information coming out about that. They're changing, rearranging, and a lot is being invested into this music sport. So stay tuned for that. But yes, without further ado, our lovely guest is going to share her experience with us, Miss Erica Farmer. Hey,
how you doing?
Farmer Erica.
Farmer Erica. Is that how you wanted me to?
Yeah, I'm called Farmer Erica and Erica Plants. That's what they call me.
Okay, yeah, that's what I. Yeah.
And auntie. I'm the internet auntie. So.
Well, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for stepping in at the last minute. Definitely really appreciate it. You know, I follow you. We've been friends for a long time. We used to work at the hometown suite.
Hometown Suites.
Yeah, hometown suites over there in Columbus, Georgia. We worked there, and that was a hell of a ride back then. We had a hell of an experience with that, and life has been lifing ever since for both of us. So you know, it's been a journey, and Erica is probably one of the most resilient women that I know. She is, you know, doing her thing and building her business as she's going along with whatever life throws at her. So introduce yourself and tell us what you got going on.
Hey y'all. Okay, so my name is Erica Plants. I am known to 250,000 people across the internet as Garden Under Influence. And what you do with me is we're going to plant something, we're going to heal something. So my main business is plantandheal.com. And that is my seed company, my blog, my educational curriculum, all of those things. Because if the shit is it, excuse my language, but if it ever hits
Uh,
the fan, I'm trying to work on cursing. I'm getting back in my youth curriculum. But if it ever hits the fan, right? It doesn't matter if you're in an apartment or if you're in a house. When we saw when COVID happened and they just closed the grocery store, then what?
right.
Then what? These are life skills that people need and they need to be learning for their kids and all as well, because it's a learning curve.
Yes.
And most of us do not know how to grow our food. We got 1% of the world feeding everybody.
Right. So now
See, it's now you're trying to get in front.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I wanted to take everybody to your TikTok, but my computer is acting up. So I do have your marquee and information scrolling down at the bottom. You can find her at Gardening Under the Influence in Planton Hill. So make sure you guys go there. She runs great specials and she also has heirloom seeds. So
Yeah.
Feel those.
uh-huh.
Yeah.
So not the GMO stuff. So these
Yeah.
are, tell us the difference. A lot of people don't know the difference and why is having heirloom seeds so important now.
Heirloom seeds are not even it's okay. So first of all, we cannot get GMO seeds. Okay, GMO seeds is just the basic seed that's been hyped up. They've put millions of dollars worth of stuff in it to make it tolerable or to a certain pest or to make it deal with a certain climate. They're not giving those seeds out at the grocery store. They did not buy these companies for billions of dollars and then put millions for each seed in it to then give it to you for a quarter. It's just not happening.
So that's a misnomer.
It's a misnomer.
Oh,
But at your grocery store, most of your corn is GMO. Nobody cares about that. We're still eating cornbread and corn on the cob and all the rest of that. And like 90% of the groceries corn is GMO because that's why it's pest resistant. Because it's not even about us. It's about the animals who eat the corn, who are not supposed to eat it. So yeah, it's in our food all the time, but it's not in your seeds. And the only thing that is a difference between a hybrid seed and an heirloom seed is the same thing as if you bred puppies. You might have a pit bull mix, but this one is a pedigree. Meaning if we see any of the new mixes, these designer dogs, after so many generations, what are they? Stabilize and they get a pedigree and they get recognized. That's all heirloom seed is. It's a recognized pedigree where every year and every time it has a baby, it's going to look just like the mama versus your hybrids where we just seen some monkey mixes. So
okay, because what I thought that or what I read, and how I used to be, or I don't know if you know how I used to be like a huge conspiracy theorist. So it scares the crap out of me because I'm like, they're gonna make the corn do all this stuff and but I see what you're saying because there's a lot of science that goes into the GMO. But what I thought was this. Here's what I thought. Now this is what I've heard. What they're gonna do to the seeds, and Nestle is trying to even patent water right now, so we have to have a license or some type of whatever to get even.
I know not. Okay.
But with the seeds, they're saying they're gonna put some type of chemical in it where they can fly over your crop to see if that's their particular seed, and then they can come and audit you and say, "This is my seed. Do you have a license to grow this?"
Okay, so for that, because they spent that much money to get a GMO seed, you have to sign a contract. That means you got to be a big time farmer. But also with that comes you're not allowed to save your seed from year to year because you're putting them out of business. If you save your seed and grow back from it, then where's their business? So they're concerned in is proprietary. So if somebody is saving their seed and giving it to somebody else off of that contract, that's where that you get what I'm saying. So that is where that is. Yeah, you signed it, and plus, honestly, GMO seeds don't have a good shelf life, so they only last for right then and there. So again, you would need it.
Got it. That makes
again, and back to that money. So again, are you going to get it for a quarter at the store? If they doing all this to protect that seed, they're not giving it to a backyard farmer who is sharing it with everybody else.
Got it. So in reference to the heirloom seed versus the GMO seeds, are not heirloom seeds more superior as far as health wise because they're not tampered with? Like, isn't that the idea, to get a seed that you know is not tampered with?
Everything we eat is tampered with. It's been
True.
10,000 years. We were hunters and gatherers before now. We were hunters and gatherers. Once we started growing, agriculture is the biggest and greatest invention of the world. We were able to then develop cultures, government, society, and everything else. And we were always moving back and forth. Wasn't no books being written or anything else. So no, food has been migrating this whole time. That's
Mm,
why it's very dangerous when you hear people like Dr. Sebi say, "Oh, you can't eat that. That's a hybrid." Everything you eat,
mm,
that banana with no seeds in it, is a hybrid. All those different citrus that you're saying are alkaline or not are hybrids. There were
mm.
the original citrus. Same thing as when we hear in our Black community about the watermelon seeds. Oh my gosh, y'all, none of the food looked like it looks now. Back then, that's why
So
when
it's
you
not
look
a gay watermelon.
huh?
It's not a gay watermelon.
No, but you think about our skulls and how they've evolved. Back in the day, we had large teeth, big heads, and small brains. Why? We were hunter and gatherer. We were eating the bulbs of like elephant ears and rocks. So as agriculture's come, we've developed all this other stuff. So we could never be where we were before without it. Most fruit were originally toxic.
Okay, and I'm sorry, and I heard that along in your defense, I have heard that the sun fixes everything. As long as you grow your food in the God's given sun, that the sun will fix anything that's wrong or that's damaging to us or the animals, because the sun is like a pure factor. It purifies things. No? Yeah, no?
No, no. The sun, I prefer everything that I have to be grown in the sun. One, yes,
Okay.
that's great. However, if your soil is not balanced, that sun can't cancel out that. It's just like your body. So, say it's not enough nutrients in that soil. Well, guys, we have all these forever chemicals like lead and mercury and all in there. Guess what? If it ain't enough potassium and nitrogen and all to take up, it starts taking up those metals. So when this less nutrient dense food is coming into the market, it's potentially taking in all these extra toxins and all. And so it is making us sick. But it has nothing to do with the sun, even though we have a lot of hydroponic, a lot of indoor farmers and all. It's more so about how it grows, where it grows, and everything else with it.
Okay.
Wow.
So I have to ask, because I'm curious to know, since you're so knowledgeable about food intake per se, what's your diet like?
My diet most days. Right now, listen, it's the winter. No, but no. But
I'm
my
saying,
diet
like,
for the
do
most
you,
part
do
is a
you
lot
eat
of leafy
meat?
greens. It's I'm not vegan at all. I'm not vegetarian at all. But when it's summer or when my garden is really pumping out, I try to be about 70% plant based.
Okay.
So I lost my first year gardening like 65 pounds on accident. So my wedding ring, my shoes shrank 2 sizes. I had no boobs, no butt. My wedding ring went from a 9 to a 7. Like, yeah, it was phenomenal the way it changed. And I wasn't doing anything but using grow bags, like a few grow bags. So changing your diet, what's in the food really matters. What you're getting at the grocery store, it don't even have all the nutrients in it. It's not growing at the same capacity, and it doesn't have any flavor in it for all the poisons that you're getting to take home with you.
And is it because of the metals in the ground or what they're actually spraying on it?
It's the metals in the ground. It's what they're spraying on it. It's how they grow it. It's all the chemicals and the pesticides that they have replaced slavery with because somebody had to do the work. And that's how we've gotten here. It is that some areas, your are what is the word I want? Antidepressants and all do not metabolize in the water when it's filtered out. So then all that gets back to the soil, that gets back to the animals, that gets back to the plants.
Hmm.
All of those things really do affect it. So you have to be mindful of what you take in. You can't just be super hardcore vigilant, but you have to think of indigenous foods and how they matter. Because the African American background has the most healthiest diet. I don't care what they say. It's the pesticides that they're now using that are causing what most people don't hear is obesogens and diabetogens.
Oh,
And
wow.
so those block your seeing that makes us most prone. But if you really think about the collard greens, the yams, the legumes, the different beans, we eat the most healthy diet.
Interesting.
So I'm from Middle Georgia, so I know my ancestors cropped and sharecroppers and all that. What's your background like? Where are you from?
I'm a Louisiana Creole Houstonian, but I'm an Army brat and third culture kid. So I've grown up all over the world. But Middle Georgia by Midledgeville and all is home to me because I'm an extension, UGA cooperative extension 4-H leader for over a decade.
Me too.
So yeah, top 4-H.
That's how I got my green thumb at UGA. UGA has a campus in Griffin, Georgia. That's where I'm from.
Oh, wait, listen. Now I
Not
don't like
far from
Griffin,
Milledgeville.
but I'll be over there at that one. Let me stop.
I got little newspaper articles as a kid. Me.
Oh, wow.
Mhm.
So yeah.
But I learned everything from my grandparents and so on and so on. Like they got it from them.
And his
Like,
last name is Turnip Seed. So a family of
That sounds familiar. Okay,
yeah,
we're gonna
turnip
talk
seed.
later.
we top,
So my
top
last
five.
counties were Talbot County and Meriwether County. So I
Gotcha.
was right there.
Gotcha. So, like, were you in the field? Were you in the fields as a kid? Like, did you help your grandparents, whatever, like do turnips and greens and potatoes and any of that?
I learned everything I wanted to learn from YouTube in 2019 out of desperation because the VA and the military weren't doing what they were supposed to. And I back to my mom always saying, well, we was able to eat and Mr. But mom, you knew Mr. Johnny. He grew the sweet potatoes. Miss Ida grew the yam, the greens.
Right.
And all they were coming from your backyard. They weren't
Eggs
going
across the street. Right.
Yeah. It was in your backyard. So I never grew anything until 2019 and I fell in love instantly. I don't know if anybody remembers that Lowe's special where you would text and it was that one time. They say text this number and you would win $500 to $500. And for every person online who said they won 20 or 100, you had to spend it that same day. Many people said they only got 5. And halfway through the day, it hit me. If y'all not going to Lowe's, can everybody just go ahead and text me their codes? And at the end of it, I had like $150. Y'all walked in bag by bag and bought soil with the $5 off because they were right at $5 back then. I was determined. Didn't know how to build a bed. I bought me an inflatable pool and I've been growing ever since.
So with the inflatable pool, you tried hydroponics first?
No, I put the soil in the inflatable pool because that's how bad I was at building and growing.
So instead of a raised bed, you use the swimming pool.
Yeah, because when I first started, I went to the wood department and y'all, they made it so technical with chemical treated this and pressure. I was like, too much. And this wood costs too much.
I'm trying to grow the
chemical. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying they pressure you into getting all these chemicals and all this stuff.
And so you don't want that. I want to be organic all the way around.
So did you like the push to do this? Did you have any type of health issues, anything like that?
My husband is a wounded warrior, combat disabled from the military. And then I used to be a St. Jude Vanderbilt kid myself. I just started realizing that the food had to be more to it. So, because I didn't have these issues in Germany. I only had these issues in certain parts of America. You get me? And so I started just looking at that and just out of desperation, I kept saying I'm going to start a garden. And finally I did. And now I'm a farmer.
Okay. So another question. I'm sorry. So I'm a veteran as well. So I don't know his story. I know my experience. Like the Army would push these medicines on you.
Yeah.
And it has side effects, and they give you medicine for the side effects, and then you start getting issues from the side effects, and they give you more medicine. It's just an ongoing thing. Now, was in my mind at the time, it's like 2015, 16, 17. Like there has to be a better way. There has to be a holistic way. The Western medicine and the other ways of the world, this can't be the only solution or option because not particularly is it addictive, but at a point in time in my life, I was taking 16 pills per hour for all the.
Used to be there.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm listening. I'm agreeing. I used to leave the military hospitals with cardboard bags full of medicine.
And there's no way that this can be healthy for my organs, right? All my ailments and inflammation in my knees, back, and everything. So I was like, being holistic or having organic foods is one thing, but it got to be something with the meat. It has to be something in the chicken, and it has to be, It has to be some. So what's my other option? Right.
They're eating that same corn.
I started looking for other options. That's what made me start, paying attention to my diet and what I was actually intaking. So therefore, with the non-GMO or all this other stuff, it was a whole broad world that I knew nothing about. And like I got on YouTube and started looking up stuff.
Yeah.
I particularly started juicing and I lost weight. But I don't know if I maintained it for a while. Then I met LaShawn. So
Blame it on me.
I was little. I was petite. I was snatched.
He said snacks. You know, listen, I'm with you. And I'm a juicing kind of girl because I'm autistic. So those textures sometimes get me. So there's a lot of stuff that I will juice or cheat and cook into, like, I don't like eggplant, but I like growing it because it's pretty. So like I'll slice it up and put it in like my spaghetti, really small, like onions.
Right.
So ways that you just trick yourself into eating this stuff. But yeah, I'm with you. I'm big on juicing. Juicing is a go-to for sure.
I don't know if it's just me. I've heard other people say it before, but it's not like it wasn't more so of a mental thing. My body started craving vegetables, and then the smell of meat or the cooking, it would do something to me. It was like repulsive at one point. I don't know if it's everybody. I don't know.
No, it does change.
A
I
person.
promise you, once I left junk food, and I didn't do it intentionally, but once I left it alone and then came back, like the way I would feel instantly sick and when I first went back to it was like, this ain't for me.
Right.
So tell me about the organic misnomer. So back in the day, like right before we connected, I did during the time that we met. You remember when I had my cloth diaper business? I learned about organic, and I learned the politics and the hustle behind them using that keyword organic.
Follow the money.
And basically, they said like if you it's a marketing tool more than anything. You can say you can have like 3% of whatever organic is, and the rest can be like junk, bull crap, whatever.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. They've gotten strict.
As of like 3 or 4 months ago, the USDA changed it because even grocery stores like Publix and Food Line was like, oh, well, if we certify organic, it's organic. Nah, bruh. So it's only a USDA certification now for organic. If it's not through them, it can't be on the package.
Wow. So now they've cornered the market because they want to funnel the money back to them.
No, it's not that. It's just there's not enough regulation in it. Like you said, it's that 3%. Or what is it that you consider organic that I wouldn't consider organic? And also, if I own the farm and the grocery store and it's my brand label, then maybe I can fudge some paperwork. So we need to have a credibility and universal standards across the board.
So for the people who don't know, when they say organic, like grass-fed chicken, what do they mean by that?
They ate grass instead of corn. Corn is the problem.
That's it. You think you're doing something different with your little now your $18 pack of chicken versus my family pack of chicken that's $5-8. We all gonna eat, but this is a whole gourmet meal you think you're eating over here.
But guess what? Your chicken cooked different. It sit different. It's sliced different when it's eating grass. It also gets an exercise because those other chickens, if you ever look at them, they grow this big in a month and they tip over.
Yeah.
These chickens are already sickly before they get there. They're like living in fecal poop, and then they feed their own matter back to them in a chicken meal.
And then the saline.
Yeah.
None of that's going on with organic, non-GMO chicken.
Yeah. So it's and for all that, just get you somebody in the neighborhood that does it themselves. There's tons of backyard farmers. We also have apps like Farm Fresh 247, which is based out of Atlanta. But it's nationwide. It's like a Craigslist for farmers and for people seeking like homemade butters and soaps and all. We can do this system by connecting with our own. And the whole idea of that is then to find local people in the area.
What was that? Nationwide 265?
It's Farm Fresh 247. It's an app. It is it's owned by a Black family, and they are so dope. But it is such a movement, and they get up every Friday and talk. But this way, you don't have to if you decide to be a homestead. Do all your own medicine, do all your own salts, do all your food, do all your. That's just too that's not realistic.
Right. Now, tell us what happened with the chickens. We're going to get into some solutions in a minute. But what happened with the chickens last year where they all stopped laying eggs and I've heard a couple of things from people who raise chickens, but what was your take on that?
First of all, Nestle owns 65,000 products in your grocery store. I'm just saying.
Right.
Nestle owns 65,000 products in your grocery stores. Nestle also owns the Purina mix. They also own the chickens. That also came at the same time that they realized if they gave COVID to the chickens and you ate the egg yolk, you would be cured of COVID. They also at that same time was in winter where chickens actually just slow down and stop laying as much. So it was a multi-layered kind of complexity. And some people deduced that it was the meal, and some people deduced that it was this, but slightly it was weather. But it's not a coincidence that they own the chicken chow and they also own the chicken medicine for at the
Keep
Right.
going. Keep going.
I mean,
no, because that's not your problem. It's not necessarily your problem. It's the likes of like Tyson. I
right.
ain't say that, Tyson. I ain't say that. I ain't say your name that many times. Not nothing about your conspiracies and y'all blocking the food with the Pilgrim foods and yeah, we're not talking about that.
Yeah. So,
Go ahead.
because I heard, because they told, like, the people that I know that had chickens, they said, like, they were like some of the only ones that still had chickens that were laying eggs. And everybody was like, well, what are you doing different? And they said, I don't use the commercial feed. I make my own feed. And their chickens were just fine.
Okay. So another layer complexity. I'll just throw this out there. So this 20 years ago, they were giving out grants and scholarships for black students, not even just particular FAMU or Fort Valley, because I'm from Georgia, for agriculture. Nobody was going, everybody was doing business, everybody doing pre-law, everybody they had so much money in the state for people to go to agriculture and they was just
Nobody
pushing
was
it and
interested.
nobody was interested.
Everybody
Right?
was interested in crypto and
No,
Why
this
would
was
you be
05.
interested?
okay.
But why would you be interested in a system that's disenfranchised and treated your grandparents, your
So,
parents, and your great
and
parents like
still to this day. So this 90s and 2000s, like not saying they took over the game, cornered, marketed, blackball, but you had black farmers that was going out of business,
Mm-hmm.
and you had multi-million-dollar farms that's generations amongst generations and Rothschild, whatever, how they were involved, that would get these grants because all the money that was left over that give to these people who's been in business for years and years, and they would just as segregation, however it works in the long run. These black farmers were struggling. They couldn't get machines. They couldn't get repairs. They couldn't get feed. They couldn't get seeds, and it was purposely done. I don't know how knowledgeable you are on it, but why is it still a thing to this day? It's so much flourishing going on. It's a new thing with organic that gives everybody an opportunity to thrive, but they only
well,
do it in certain markets.
well, there's three levels to this. First thing is it doesn't matter what the federal government's intentions are, because at the local level, the same racist people are the same ones still
Been there for
organizing
20
and running
years.
the program.
Right.
And therefore, that white supremacy, that anti-blackness, that I'm going to give you the money, but I'm not going to give you enough, or your money has to be monitored, or if you lapse on your loan, regardless of what the federal guidelines are, you get a year, or we're going to take it. We just finished up the third level of the largest class action lawsuit on the 13th of January, where we could be compensated. But this time, because they had such an issue with it being about still making whole of the Pickford 1 and 2 for black farmers, which was the largest class action suit under Obama. The second one was that they made it for all discriminated parties. So it was natives, it was women, it was Hispanic, it was black. And so those things are there. But at this point, the average age of the black farmer is 65, and the average age of the white farmer is 68. And in addition to that, you got the foreign companies coming in and buying up land, but you don't trust China. So why would
That's
you
what
let
I
it
was
buy
just
your
going to say.
waterways and you want to so that's where we are. We're in this mess.
I know it's what stories be told, or whatever, right? It's so complex, and they play the game dirty, just as they would in the stock market, anything else. Let's say two farms, same town. These people have been farming for generations. One white and one is black. They teach their children how to wake up, feed the pigs, horses, whatever. But whatever complexities of the black health, the older grandfather, whatever, may die out, and they don't teach their kids how they're supposed to,
or the children aren't interested,
or the farm, like they lose the house, whatever, right? these farms have been going on for so long that these white people know that black family has better soil than them. But if we kill them off and they can't afford the taxes on the land or anything anymore, we're gonna go buy them out. So it's a
But
whole plotted
they did
plan.
that from jump. They did that running you into the cities from the
Plotted
rural
plan.
areas.
They've been doing this for years, and they do it on purpose. They'll go poison their animals or mess up their soil or their crop for that season just to go back and take it later. Like
Mhm.
it's a very,
It's
very
deep.
dirty game.
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh no, it definitely is. I have a farmer right now. In the last 6 months, well, he got inspired from watching me grow. He's gotten certified in Louisiana. He's been selling on average about $3,000 those first few months of produce. He stepped it up. The other day, he sold a truckload for like $10,000, cleared out just the acre of mustards and all. He came back the next day. Somebody had put salt and cut the tops of all his broccoli. They already had called the police 2 weeks ago on him at the stand and tried to say that he was faking. So when the USDA pulls up and confirms, no, his paperwork is squared away. He is USDA certified organic and everything else. It's a problem. But that is just part of it. There's always going to be people who are in
Sabotage.
opposition with you.
Yeah,
Sometimes they look just like you though, and you got to remember that.
absolutely. Um, there was also something that happened in the news in Philly where there was this organic farm and all of their stuff was confiscated. Like, how are they? I remember this happened years ago in California.
Mhm.
And they said that the government took it and they took it, they didn't throw it in the trash, they used it for themselves. Like,
Re-engineered it,
no, they took it. They took it and you and took the
sold it.
food. And no, the government entity took the food and used it for themselves
So I was
in
I
whatever
was thinking
capacity.
about the same thing happened in Florida with orange orchard or whatever, and they
Hmm.
made some they were hybrid oranges whatever, and they took it and re-engineered
Yeah. Hmm.
yeah, and made their own thing and made it got a patent and they took it away. This was a Mexican family, I believe.
Oh wow.
Well, if you patent it, if you do something else, and it's never re-engineering, that's just crossbreeding and all, then you can get a patent for 25 years on your plants. So that's definitely possible.
Now let's talk about solutions. Let's
Okay.
talk to the person that has no knowledge, just like how you were, but you kind of took a liking to it. Someone that says, I'm not really interested in it, but I want to start small. Where would that person begin?
They start on the patio, or they can start in their kitchen. It's up to them depending on their space. It's a matter of knowing what they want to eat. And it can just be something as simple as taking a bowl like this and sprinkling some lettuce seeds in it, and it will grow lettuce endlessly for you. So you start small, but you start with understanding why you're doing this. Understand, and because if you don't have a why or a reasoning for it, then it's not going to be beneficial. You're not going to look forward to it. And you're not going to understand it. I don't care if you're just learning it now for if you ever need to use it later on.
So and tell us about the cost savings because you, like you said, you go in the summertime, you go about 70% vegetables.
Plant
About
based.
how much do you save, um, and balance it out with the time because time is money too. So let's just say you're in there, you're farming, you're doing your thing, and let's just say you were getting paid uh, $15 an hour. So your time that you're farming versus the produce that you utilize and cook or even sell,
And the money that you would spend at a grocery store for it.
yeah, how does that kind of hypothetically work out? I mean, I know that you
Um,
have a lot of
I
precision.
get one, say I get one bell pepper plant, and it's gonna give me about 50 to 60 bell peppers. Right now, bell peppers are over $1 at the grocery store. That's just one plant. That plant cost me less than 3 cents to plant
Hmm.
if I use my own soil. I watered it. The plant took care of itself. It's a pepper plant. You just water it. I did the same thing for like okra. Overall, it's just a matter of what are you growing and what do you want. And even then, I don't be out there like that. First of all, it's too damn hot in the summer. I'm in Georgia, coastal Georgia.
I guess your
It's
videos over sensationalize how much time you're spending because I'm looking at your videos and I'm like, damn, she is always
She's a real
outside.
farmer.
well, I like being outside. So yeah, I'm there. I'm looking at pests, but I'm also a farmer and I'm at my landscaping store. So that's my storefront as well. So up front is house plants and edible fruits and all. So in between, of course, I wanted to look good. I want to teach lessons and all because that is how I drive the traffic to my website. I mean, it's my vehicle. So yeah, but no, I'm not out there like that. Just like now, I haven't been to my farm in 3 weeks. I'm
Okay.
gonna go in a few. Once I get off of here, I'm driving to Savannah. I'm in South Florida. I'm gonna stop, grab some things that shouldn't be outside in this cold, put them inside my building, and I'm going to Atlanta. That's it. My collards, my broccoli, my radish, they are all out there taking care of themselves. Them, the rain and the sun. That's it.
Well, you also need to put South Carolina on your map as well, because that's where we are.
If it wasn't for work, I would not be going to Atlanta. I don't do cold. Why I'm in South Florida right now.
Of course. But for sure. So okay, so that definitely makes more sense now. Like to hear you say it and to kind of simplify it, it makes it, in my opinion, a little bit less intimidating. If I can
Yeah.
just, uh, so somebody starting out, would you recommend small containers, or you recommend raised beds or hydroponics, or it just depends
Get a
on?
small container. If you really don't know, get you a kiddie pool. If you really, really, really don't know, get you a bag of soil, open the top of it, and put your seeds right on top. That's simple. And then if it's for you, go from there. That's the other reason I want people to grow with what they got. Because we always hear the little jokes like I spent $1,000, I did all this and that and another, and all I got was one tomato. No, first you got it, and then most of those people after one season give up, and now you spent all this stuff on a new hobby that you don't even know if you like.
Right.
But I'm telling you right now, when you go outside, it's called plant and heal for a reason. I promise you're going to heal yourself, heal your spirit. You're going to slow down. You're going to ground. You're getting sun. You're moving your body and keeping lubrication and things like your back and your knees. If you plant something, you're going to heal something, whether it's the soil, yourself, the pollinators that need you. It's, it's just what it is.
How did you feel when they announced a couple of weeks ago that bees are no longer on the endangered species list? Was that a victory for you too, even in that realm?
Which bees? And nowadays bees. We're
Um,
just talking about honeybees, them
Yeah.
invasive European people. No. That's what they are, so we're clear. They're invasive European bees. They are not native to America. They have just been sensationalized in a different way than the Asian bees. I wonder how that works.
Right.
So
But the
yeah,
Africanized bees is super duper evil and they gonna kill everybody.
y'all was friends at work.
Yeah.
Okay, I see.
they had to run us out of that, LaShawn. Listen,
Yeah, they did. I
So
said
brother
so.
Malcolm landed on. All right.
look,
Nah, nah.
literally.
Look, we was in there putting two and two together, like something else.
They ain't here stealing. We're scrupulous women. We do not play that. So yeah, but yeah, but definitely we hit it off. So
So I got a question. So, like I said, I'm a juicer. I usually juice often or used to. When people give us like recipes for juicing, they usually say like to heal something. It's like a focus factor on this particular juice. What are some of your favorite vegetables that you know that heal? Like
celery.
beets or something like that.
Celery. That's
Celery.
what I said.
They use celery
That's like
for everything.
inside
Fat
Ajax.
burner.
Forget that's Ajax for your body.
Oh
You
wow.
ever mess up? My first time I got a juicer, I had so much celery. Nobody told me about juicing celery. It was the first thing I did at like 10 stops.
Right.
I had this big old jug. I went to drink it. And I was like, well, see, we're here now. We got to commit.
Right. What's that for the aftermath?
It's a good thing.
It's a
it changed her
natural
world.
it's a natural
It
diuretic.
detox and drain everything.
Oh,
It's a good flush.
that's what I need. That's what I said. Celery.
That's why I say the body ages
I didn't know
slowly.
that.
Everything out. Another one though is pumpkin seeds. Your green pumpkin seeds are really great for tapeworms and other pests in your body.
Mhm. What else?
Um,
People did. I think a fad last year was the watermelon fast, and people were juicing watermelon, eating watermelon for 7 days.
I think that's crazy.
It's gonna make you do what it do when you do.
well, anything like that is gonna make you do what it do, especially if it's grown right. because those are just good vitamins, and you always get more nutrients from getting the actual flesh, the cells and all. When we juice, it helps us, but it just doesn't hit the same as eating all those parts and
I think that's
components.
what I learned for the most part because I stay hungry. I'm not gonna just drink juice or eat. I'm not gonna eat juice for 7 days. I'm hungry. I'm gonna have a headache. I want pork
And
chop.
then get grumpy.
Oh well, juice. Then I waste juice like because I'm not drinking it by myself. I'm trying to make a surplus, trying to do the whole healthy thing. I'm tired. I'm going to get the soda. I try it.
It'd be like that. It'd be like that.
If I do healthy for too long, I get serious migraine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Before we wrap this though, I do want to say that y'all, seedless watermelon are not GMO. Okay.
Okay.
They're not GMO.
I didn't hear that it was GMO. What I heard, is that it was like it can't reproduce itself. Is all I heard. Like it stops at that generation. But then I did hear something else that kind of dispelled that. They were like, no, it's not quite as what is that.
Yeah.
So do you think Dr. Sebi was a little kind of like shooting over, like kind of making stuff into something that it really wasn't, kind of little?
Now somebody got a beehive. It's Dr. Sebi.
Right.
But yes, not even in the way that we think. You have to realize and take into context that they eat real food in Nicaragua and the likes, in Honduras and all. We do not have the same quality of food. We grew up looking at our grandparents as backwoods for drinking out their mason jars, using their cast iron and everything else.
And
when
copper.
They tell you that your non-stick is giving you chemical toxins every time you heat it, your kettle got the lead in it, and this plastic, nothing was supposed to be this close to plastic and wrapped in plastic this much that we're doing these days. And so when you go somewhere like that, which was part of the healing, remember, you always had to come to him.
Right.
Different food, different water, different this. So you have to wonder and ask yourself then, is that what it was? Or is it that the environment changed? Because we see too many Americans getting 2-week life sentences, and then they leave and go somewhere like New Zealand and live for another 40 years.
Right.
Just changing their life, work balance, and diet. It's all in what you eat. It's all in how you move. If we're going to drive everywhere and be sedentary and sit in computers, not go outside and get any sun, not stretch or move our bodies, then that sets us up for failure. Also, all the empty calories, all the things that are in America that are not allowed in Europe. Like our apples. Europe loves our apples, but they will never accept our apples. They're banned there. Why? Because the wax on the apple is toxic.
Yeah.
America just has their legs open for anybody who's willing to pay.
Right. And I heard a guy say specifically about European. He said he went to Europe and he ate snacks and candy and sweets and he lost weight. He said it's definitely something about the snacks that are over here versus
always the food. It's always been the food. And because they know it's so much the food, some people, the doctors don't get that. Let me be real. The doctors really aren't in the game the way we think too. They're just not trained to see the full picture. But it's always been the food. And it's also the foods that they tell you to eat. My pyramid is not set up for a Black, Hispanic, or Asian person. It is for the average American. And if you look about the average American, seeing as they're over 50%, then the average American, the majority would be white. Because why would you give that many servings of milk on something when you know that 100% of Native Americans are lactose intolerant, 80+% of Asians are lactose intolerant, 90% of them. You got 75 to 80% of Hispanics and Blacks are lactose intolerant. And so even with our little minuscule percentages, it's still enough that you should put a disclaimer on there, but you don't, the same way you put that many green grains. But you tell me where you've seen one wheat field in Africa. It's not for us. That's why Asians can eat rice every meal and not gain weight. And baby, you eat rice every meal, you're going to swell up like some rice.
I've heard that in like a bunch of documentaries, but one particular documentary that I saw maybe on Netflix, how just particularly with kids with autism, how they change their diet. You spoke on that earlier. So changing your diet, how did that affect you? Like some of the changes that you realized being an adult with autism?
Autism overall, it doesn't affect my diet in the way it does most of them because I don't eat the stuff that many of those kids would eat. But definitely does affect my ADHD and all. I know that when I was eating super clean, my ADHD was minuscule of a problem to me. Right now, that's not the case, but I'm also going through transition and divorce and relocating. And so I can see the difference in even my mind right now. So food really does play a role in it. I know when I eat more breads and more grains and more whites, let's just say the whites, potatoes, rice, all of that, my mental health takes a downturn.
Oh
And I
wow,
with
potatoes
myself
too.
realize that.
So I asked it in that way because in a documentary, not saying there's it's scripted or the lines are fed, but they're children. So you're an adult and you can vocalize the changes that you felt. That's why I asked it that way.
Yeah. Yeah, so that and all those carbs just break down to sugars. And so no, yeah. And you really can notice a difference though. Even in your drankness and all. Like I never felt so good in my body until I lost that weight on accident. Just eating the right thing.
Mhm.
Right, right. So I know you gotta go, and we can stay here and talk all night, as you can see.
I'll
But
come back another time. Like we can do this.
we would love that. We
I
want
know
you in the studio though.
I know another farm. I
I
know
will.
black
I have to
people.
come this summer. My best friend lives in Rock Hill.
Oh,
So and
oh yeah, that's right around the corner.
I know, and but her mama live in your town. So out the cut a little bit right there.
We ain't out in
So
the cut too,
I know. That's why I know which town she in. So we're gonna make that happen.
for sure.
I was saying one of my old army buddies when she got out of the army, she became a farmer and she raises her own chickens and goats and everything.
Hey,
And we can link it up.
That would be great.
definitely. I'm always down for that. Yes. Plus, I got to go see my other friend with the tulip farm. So if you want to go to a flower farm, they just moved from Miami to Rock Hill. Um, let's do it. I
That
will
would
see
be
you guys
great.
soon. It's been a pleasure. My contacts again will be plantandheal.com. You can shop there for your seeds, your edible trees and fruit trees and all that. Right now we're having a sale, so you can get your strawberry tree, your Jamaican Barbados cherry, your figs, and all these different edible fruit trees, patio size, for $20 up until tomorrow at midnight. And we're teaching and we're learning, and I can't wait to see y'all.
Same here. Thank you so much for coming in the pinch. Love you, and we will talk to you later.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.
Tell you what, our guests really just keep getting better and better. I know you guys didn't expect to have that much resources coming at you in one night show, because I am definitely overloaded, but in a very fantastic way. So if you see the marquee at the bottom, please make sure you go and support my friend. And you can go follow her TikTok. She makes everything easy, comprehensive as far as like how she maintains her garden. You can start it from the top and actually see how she started with the pools, and how she started from a very small at her house. And now she has people donating her buildings and spaces and stuff like that. And she travels and she will come to you and help you set up your garden. So if you're really serious, yeah,
Save money.
right.
Money.
So if you're really serious about getting started, she can consult or she can come to you. She is mobile. So plantandheal.com. Again, she's having a sale right now until tomorrow at midnight. So please, please, please go support. Even if you are not like planning now, go ahead and get the seeds while they're at a discount. You can even gift them. I'm pretty sure you know somebody that might be into gardening. Seeds are always a great gift.
Yes.
Yes.
Not in my Christmas thought. I mean, but it's gonna pay off in the long run. Some seeds are very valuable, like you said, with the heirloom. So great gift.
And that was great. Like a lot of conspiracies and I hate to keep using the same word, but misnomers and things that I thought she kind of cleared. She cleared some things up. And we're not talking bad on Dr. Sabi, but what she did was make the comparison about like the food resources that are available, like where he's from and what we have here and what's real and what's not. Everything evolves, like people evolve, the animals evolve. The chickens that you see now aren't the original chickens. The bananas that you see now aren't the original bananas. Does it make it any less nutrition? It could, depending on the way the banana is grown and depending on the way the chicken is raised. I'm still going to stick to the fact that I do believe that the sun is the great equalizer. It will purify, it will bleach, clean a lot of things out. I don't have a proven scientific theory on that, but I have read some articles that the sun, right, the sun, as long as you have the pure sun, it does make for better gardening, but you can do artificial light methods and still get great results as well. It's just the dynamics of the plants and being able to reproduce. And like she said, even if you don't plan on being an avid gardener, learn the skill so that if you
Just
need the skill, then you'll have the skill.
And speaking of Dr. Sebi, anybody down for a wellness retreat to Honduras, let a brother know.
Yeah. So yes, we definitely would love to do that. I've heard great reviews. One young lady that went, she said they serve them bitters in the morning, and that's kind of like the best way to like get your system started. Hot bitters and all that good stuff. So, what a great show! You got any closing remarks?
Nope.
So make sure you guys just stay tuned to everything we have going on. We'll keep you updated. Stay up on the Deuce Latrice media page. We're going to get some marketing help so that way those things will come up more often. But you can come to my page or Deuce's page.
Check out the new Wear in the Carolinas.
Yes, we do have a new Wear in the Carolinas. We also have a sneak peek of the next one to come on TikTok. And we'll probably be finishing that one up in a couple of days. So it'll be out very soon too. So we're going to get back regular on our Wearing the Carolinas bag. Shout out to Rogers Entertainment for making sure we have those great animations. And if you are looking for any animation help, Rogers Entertainment is your go-to guy. I would like to probably kind of put him as a sponsor because he's always coming through in a clutch for us. Also, Palmetto Money, who has sponsored us in the recent past. If you are looking for loans, credit repair, palmettomoney.com is a great resource for you. If you're looking to advertise, we are on 8 different platforms, so your information will go out far and wide. I also have opportunities where we have opportunities to be sponsors for the LVAMU Dynamic Voices class, where we can get your link to your business at the beginning of every lesson. So when we start generating thousands and thousands of students, every student will be exposed to your brand. So if you want to get a package, an advertising sponsor package for your brand service or whatever you have going on, please let us know. DeuceLatriceMedia.com. And I think that's all that I have for
you. You been working on your wings? No?
I didn't.
The wink is my thing. Have you been working on your wings?
I have not.
Let me see what you got. Nah, we gotta work on it. We'll be back next week with better winks.
Better winks.
We'll be practicing.
And another guest. And if you're interested in coming on here, Black History Month is next month. So I will give you a preview. My cousin, Jeff Trammell, is going to be on the second week of February. He has been in the race car industry for years, and he set records. So he is a walking, talking piece of history, and we're going to learn more from him, my cousin, Jeff Trammell, in mid-February. So stay tuned for that. We want to get the rest of our guests lined up. So if you're interested in being on the show, I do have a couple of inquiries in my inbox, so we'll be lining them up. And again,
don't forget to check out Shop Black next week.
Yep, Shop Black next week on the BOB Rewards podcast, or BOB Shop Black podcast. And if you would like to join as a member, it's only $10 a year as a consumer and $25 a year as a member. And if you want to be on the Shop Black podcast, you can go to bobrewards.club and sign up as a BFAC member. Hey, how are you? Thank you for tuning in, Devonta. I know I'm probably mispronouncing your name, but he's a great artist and a good friend. I met them down in Louisiana, and they came and performed. So good friends of ours, and thank you so much
Tell
for
him to go to Amazon.
checking out the show. Yeah, make sure you check out our books.
That's
Tip
it.
the damn waitress, and
Black people
black
don't
people
tip.
don't tip. So
And this is Late Night Hype
late night hype
with
with
the
you,
Voicetress and Deuce Terry.
and we are signing out. Thank y'all so much.
Start playing.